All right, rock and roll, rock star time. By the way, just curious, how many of you, by means of the chat, drop in? Would you drop if you know about what we're doing with the rock star awards? Will you just drop a rock star in the chat box? I'd just be curious to know. Lily-Ann, who's on here, she actually already has her rock star award. I should say her first one, and that's absolutely fabulous. If you don't know what the rock star awards are, just drop a question, so we can maybe find you later. But we have a new fun recognition approach that we're doing on top of everything else that the company's already doing, that our teams are already doing. This is not to replace that by any means. It's just to take it to a new level. And it has to do with the core ranks, primarily, Pro 3, Pro 5, Pro 7, Pro 10, 3, 5, 7, 10. And it's all about, and the other fun thing is it's all about new. It's all about your new story. It's all about the next wave of this company, which y'all know Rai Master Pro 10, just hit Master Pro 10. Rai Fry's been a long time of mine. And he and I sat for half a day at the corporate office yesterday, just masterminding about.
Can I help?
Sure. Yeah. Next level, about what we're doing, and about how to make this even better. We talked about I Can and our LifeVantage story and helping people. How many of you, by the way, and this is apropos since we're in the I Can Sell and Recruit class, how many of you want to be able, you're already able. How many of you are intending and have a set intention to sponsor, recruit more distributors this year in 2022 than you did in 2021, and more engaged distributors? So I'm talking about sponsoring more distributors, but more people who are going to do more, right? Higher level. So that's what this class is about. And that's what Rai and I talked about. I know some of you rocked it last year, rocked it in 2021. You were part of the top 25, some additional Rockstar and you know, awards that we gave out. And you did 30 customers last year, but no distributors, and you want to enroll distributors. So that's why we're taking this class. Absolutely. And what we're doing is going to help us. So anyway, yeah, if you're not familiar with Rockstar, I'm going to look at the chat as we're going through today, and I'll make sure that you get that information. Oh, what I was saying about it is it's all about the new growth. Okay. If you're here, if you're building, it's because you want to go from ground 0 to ground 10. Your rank is not really relevant. Okay. It's your work. Thank you, Heidi, for the thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. You have to start at 0 to build a new leg, right? My goal this next 12 months is to bring 3 new elite legs to my business. Okay. I got to start them at 0. I've been listening to the Pro 3 Neuro tool. By the way, I'm going to ask you this too. If you are listening to the Dreaming Your Way to Pro 3, I was trying to remember the exact words. If you are listening to the Pro 3 Neuro tool, will you drop in Pro 3 tool? If you'll just drop that in, just so I know as we're talking today, into the chat box. If you don't know about the Pro 3 Neuro tool, then what I would love you to do is drop in a 3 and then question mark. Okay. 3 and then question mark after that. We have a Pro 3 Neuro tool that's absolutely free. It's not part of the app. Deb and I created it together, by the way. We're making a Pro 5, a Pro 7, and a Pro 10 tool as well. So, but you got to start at Pro 3. You got to be able to build new Pro 3 volumes. I don't care where you are. If you're at Pro 0 or if you're Pro 5, you still got to go build new Pro 0 volumes. Okay. That's why I'm here. So that's why I'm taking this class. And that's why what Rockstar Awards are all about. By the way, Daisy Goodwin was the first person. Lillian Merida was the second, by the way. Daisy Goodwin was the first person to qualify and notify. You got to qualify and then notify that she had earned her Pro 3 Rockstar Award. Her Pro 3 Rockstar Award. She's a Pro 9. She's Elite Pro 9. But she doesn't get the Elite Pro 7 award till she earns it. And she hadn't earned the Pro 5 award. What? Yeah, because even if you were titled at a Pro 9, unless you go out and do some new recruiting to build new volume, and in this case, it was $3,000 of personal new volume enrollment, she didn't qualify for the award. She qualified for it before I qualified for it as a Pro 10. That's some of the flavor of what Rockstar means. So when you earn these Rockstar awards personally, and your team earns them, and they're able to create behind them this wall of fame of these Rockstar silver, gold, platinum, double platinum awards, what you know is this isn't for anything they did in the past. This is for stuff that they built from zero right now. Everybody's on the same field, the same playing field. We're all starting at zero. Okay. So I hope that you'll love that and fall in love with it. Rye Fry told me yesterday, he's like, I saw Daisy's post, her Facebook story. I saw her post of her opening her Pro 3 Rockstar Award. And he said, I want one of those. Love it. Love it. Love it. So you all deserve them. Go get them on your walls. Okay. So let's jump in officially. This is our first Huddle. I can sell and recruit class. I am recording this. This will be available for your teams and for your listening again if you want. This is part of us just starting to create this massive CEO women repository. Okay. Not to be confused with a suppository, but this repository. Okay. Anybody can smile at that? Okay. Lillian's laughing at that. This repository, this bank of incredible trainings and huddles that we're creating together for your teams in the future, right? I'm all about, and you should all be about duplication. Okay. Yes, Lonnie, women and men, but I'll tell you, my mission is to liberate and to champion the women of the world. Now yours might not be, and that's okay. That's mine. And that's where my gifts are. Okay. And if you're a man, if you're a man in my business, we got some of us here representing Richard. I see you, Jake. I see you. That's awesome. Your mission doesn't have to be my mission. Okay. But if you're smart, your mission will include women because they're going to make the greatest impact on the economy in the next 5 to 10 years. All of the numbers and my heart just kind of lead me that direction. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to plug CEO women all the time. So let me open up my book. What I did is, and this is going to be super interactive. This first one, I'm going to dive into a little, I don't want to say housekeeping, but what I did is I printed this out. I hope you printed this out or you've got access to it. It's hard to fully do the program if you're not writing down the stuff. Okay, so if you wanted to PDF it and you're typing it in, that's great. Okay, I see Richard's there. Awesome. I will tell you, okay, yeah, awesome. I see Florence's. This stuff, 20 years in the industry as a distributor, Seth Mulder, this is the best workbook stuff I've ever had. There's no fluff here. This is all totally applicable to your business. So I'm loving filling out my book. I'm having a blast doing it. So one thing I just want to go through, you had an I can welcome to the sell and recruit class page here. These aren't numbered, but it was talking about what's your intention? What's your intention? I'm just going to go through this and we're going to talk about it. And each of these pages, okay, everybody can jump into the chat and then feel free, we've got about a half an hour from now. Okay. We're officially starting now, but feel free to unmute. And some of you, this is a double invitation. You will never accomplish your mission. You will turn away from your mission if you don't open your mouth. And so for some of you, I'm giving you, you know who you are. I'm giving you that invitation to hit the unmute button and speak up. Okay. because your mission, between you and your mission, is raising your voice. Okay. So I hear my voice plenty. My kids hear my voice plenty, believe me. I'm going to say on every page, my son's shaking his head. Yes. I'm going to take that. Hey, will you turn off the water, please? A couple of you, 2 or 3 people on each of these pages we're going through, jump in and give us a snippet, a comment, okay? And we're going to move. So the first one is, I can sell and recruit. We're just going to go through this together. This was your intention for taking the class. This is like page 2 or 3, but the first one you're filling stuff out. What do you want to accomplish? Let's talk about it. I'm not going to answer first. Drop it in the chat box, and then 2 or 3 of you, or 1 or 2 of you, jump in. Tell me. Unmute and tell me what it was. Richard.
Basically, it's to get to Pro 3 as quickly as possible.
Love it.
But it also by doing all the touches, and I figure if you do the touches each month, that would be 30. For 10 each day, that'd be 300 that you could do.
Yeah,
it'd be 90 for IPAs. I could do 90 IPAs.
90 IPAs a month. Yeah, that's beautiful. Love it. Richard, Carolee, you had your hand. And this is like, here's what we're going to do. I think the fastest way, because, lag times with Zoom, sometime in Wi-Fi, so we don't have as much overlapping talking, like 6 of us wanting to talk at the same time. If you want to jump in and make a comment on this, then just hit the raise hand button, right? You can hit the raise hand button, or you can raise your hand and I'll see you. We'll just go through there. I saw Carolee, you're next. So what did you want to accomplish through this class?
I want to get in the flow, and I want to feel that flow with ease. I want to just feel it open up. That's my thing.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. And Carolee, I'm going to ask the flow regarding what activity, right? Flow is all about action. So what activity specifically are you targeting there?
Okay. In my mind to start, it was for customers, but in my new mind, it's the flow to find people to work with.
Love it. That's beautiful. Gorgeous. We'll go Lillian and then Lonnie.
So my medium-term goal is I want to retire my husband. I need to be somewhere in between Pro 6 and Pro 7 volume to be able to do that. And my long vision, thanks to you, Seth, to think big is, and that's what I put in as my purpose, is I want to change 100,000 dogs' lives, bring them into this new technology so they can live longer without so much disease and pain. And then the way to do that is I need to become a master recruiter. Also taking from your words.
Love it, love it, love it. That's beautiful. I'm here. Absolutely, to be a master recruiter. I'm learning to be a master recruiter. Okay. Lonnie and then Jake, and then we're going to go to then we're going to move on.
Awesome. So why am I taking this course is so that I can commit to being a builder and finding new builders to bring along with me. I want to reach Pro 5 this year. And the reason I want to do that is I have 4 wonderful grandchildren I want to spend more time with and travel with.
Thank you. Lonnie actually kind of went and finished out this page, which is great. What do you want to accomplish? Why do you want to do that? And what would it mean to you to accomplish this? And I'm going to tell you, she was talking a wave of emotion. Hit me, because I knew what she was saying meant something to her. And it also means something to me. So beautifully, beautifully done. Thanks for letting me share in that. Jake.
My short-term goal is I want to hit Pro 4 by June, so I can join you all in Croatia in September. And then long-term, I retire from the Navy in 6 years. And so 6 years, my long-term goal is to be at least a Pro 7 so that I never have to work for somebody else again in my life. And so that we have the freedom for my family to be able to go do things and not be tied down, and especially be told where to go and what to do, like the Navy's been telling me for 13, 14 years now.
Yes, sir. Love it, Jake. Thank you so much. I'm going to challenge you. If you've not written this down, if you've not done this work, you got to do this work. It's simple. And it is the ultimate simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And when you tie these simple questions and you feel the emotion, you got to feel some emotion, right? What would it mean to you? What would it mean to you? I know Lonnie felt it today, right? What would that mean to you? You got to dwell on that. You got to own that. These can't just be words. Okay. So love it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys and guys and dolls for all those of you who love musicals. Okay. By the way, have you seen Encanto? I love Encanto. That's such a cute movie. We are singing that out of our ears. Love it. By way of note, what do I want to accomplish? I want to double my recruiting. I want to double my recruiting and selling. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's move that. So let's move forward. So next there is this page, which is the lessons and worksheets. So this is kind of the table of contents, and you can check these off as you go. We're in the introduction, right? The reality check. Make sure that you are going through each one of those. You will fulfill this class fully and play all out if you go through each one of these exercises and documents and tools and just make sure that you're doing each of them. And there's a checkbox. So it's really easy to see, hey, where am I? Okay. Next page. Oh, the commitment page. I love this. I love this. Will you just go to this page and let's just review it and read it together. I commit to, if it's not in front of you because you're out and about, I think Melissa might be out in the barn or something. I don't know. Yes, she is. She is. I did not ride a horse or drive a tractor today. And so I left something on the table. I will tell you that. That's one of my goals, but I commit to. So if you don't have it in front of you, you can just face my fears, manage my emotions, master my mindset, break through my resistance, stretch my comfort zone, and do the work. Vivian, do you have that in front of you? Vivian? All right, awesome. Hey, Vivian, do you mind leading us in that? You'll have to unmute.
Can I off it to Lillian? I'm just logging in.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Actually, no, I'm going to give it to Richard. Richard's got it there in paper, in print. Go ahead, Richard. Will you read that for us again?
There we go. Hey, I even signed it. See in the bottom? Signed it. Okay. I commit to face my fears, manage my emotions, master my mindset, break through my resistance, stretch my comfort zone, do the work.
Love it. Thank you, Richard. And I signed mine too. Make sure this is a commitment. You're committing to you. You are the CEO. You're the boss. Okay. Next page, pre-class evaluation. Oh, I love this page. I love this page. I spent some time on this today. Okay. I spent some time on this, and if you have, I'm going to go into it in some detail because this is going to give you a snapshot, right? We're talking about emotions, and what you're doing right now with this class, you are in the top 1% of network marketers if you go through and fulfill this class. Okay. If you go through and fulfill this page and then come back and measure your progress afterwards. Most people in our industry just don't honor the industry. They don't honor it as a profession. It's always like, I worked, I worked. I'm doing the work. Great. Show yourself the work. Show me the work. And so this is causing you to get in and keep track of it. It's wonderful. And for those of you who may have not done this in the past, or might be worried about, oh man, I don't want to get bogged down. Every business has to keep track of the numbers. You must honor the math. Okay. That's one of the commitments. You must honor the math of the business. So number of cold reach out activities. Okay. Oh, so your current, what we're doing is we want to get a snapshot of where you are right now, because in 10 weeks, 11 weeks, what we're going to do? We're going to come back to this paper and see where we already are after 11 weeks, right? And what I'd love to do is I'd love to come back 3 months from now, right? 90 days after you've completed it and you continue to do those and see where they're going. What I've done, I'm coming up on my year mark almost with working with Deb. And I'm seeing it increase. It's like almost an exponential benefit, just building and building and building on top of each other. It's not just, oh, I incrementally grew for a certain amount of time and I just there. No, it's like, I'm getting better, right? So what you want to do is you want to measure, and either if you've been keeping records, great, that's best, right? If you haven't, then really kind of hone in to get an accurate number, okay? Junk in, you get junk out. So the number of cold reach out activities, are you at 0? And I'm going to say on an average, I went back through the last month, okay, December 13th through now, right? I looked at all my little sheets because I keep actually track of this every single day. The number of cold reach out activities. Now, what does this mean? Let's define this. This is what Deb calls a touch, specifically a new lead touch, okay? What that means, and a touch is not an invite, okay? This is before invite. This is basically, I reached out to my long lost cousin who I haven't talked to, and I just said hi. That's a touch with an intention to move forward. It doesn't have to be an invite, okay? I can tell you just to give you some ideas, what did that mean today for me? A few days ago, that was on Monday. Was that Monday? Yeah, it was Monday. We went to the orthodontic office. The assistant there asked me what I did. Now, I want you to put yourselves, I'm getting really talk today, but I think this is inspired. So we'll just do it. If somebody asked you right now, you're in the orthodontics office, you got kid number 5, not really kid number 5, but kid number 5 and kid number 6, who you're putting braces on, okay? Because we've done, this is our kid number 5 and kid number 6, do the math at $5,000 a pop, okay? Kid number 5, kid number 6 on the left of you, you're with your kids, your teenagers, and you've been having a dialogue, they're asking all these questions, and they're like, so what do you do? Just like out of the blue, you're not prepped for it. Like, I want you to think about right now, what do you say? What do you say, right? By the way, what you say is very representative of your current set point, right? If it's, if any of you want to drop that in the chat box, you can. Like, right, I'm asking right now. So what do you do? This is what I said. Like, the thought came to my mind and I just ran with it. I've never done this with anybody else, by the way, but I might do it, right? Yeah, I love it, Richard. I love it. It's awesome if you can be prepped and have something. This is what I said. I said, I lead an MLM organization. Now, I want to just put that on for size. You try those tights on for size. Okay, try those tights on for size. How would you feel if you just, like, what would it feel like if you allowed yourself the leeway to say, I run an MLM organization. I'm building an MLM company. Right? I'm building an MLM team, whatever, right? Like, I'm out there, like I'm a man in tights, right? Like, here I am, right? And I'm very comfortable with myself. It's kind of like when I went to the gym about a month ago. I got up early. I didn't get a lot of sleep. I got up at 5:20, 5:15, got my gym clothes on, went to the gym. 10 other guys, we play hoop 3, 4, 5 times a week. I get to the gym and I'm warming up and I'm shooting around, getting ready for game number 1. And one of the guys says, dude, where are your shorts? I had forgotten to put on my ball shorts, and all I was wearing was my compression tights, right? From waist to ankle, compression tights, right? I was very comfortable. It was like ballet player shows up to play basketball. It was fun. But again, how would you feel about it? I was super comfortable, by the way. Anyway, back to the point. That was a new touch. I didn't invite her. It was just, she's a new lead. Does that make sense? Somebody that follows you on Facebook and you don't know who they are, and you reach out to them. That is a new, according to this book, this intake, that is a cold reach out. They might not be a cold lead, but it's brand new. You're just starting a conversation. This could be your best friend. If you've not invited your best friend or talked to your best friend about the business, okay, in a year, that's a new lead when you reach out to them. Does that make sense? My new lead, that it doesn't have to go anywhere. It very well might. But anyway, that's what a new lead is. Number of follow-ups to cold reach outs. So we've been calling this nurtures. Okay, for those of you who've been we've been running with this. This is a touch that is a nurture. So you have a touch that's a new lead, and then you have a touch that's a nurture. What's a nurture? It's the conversation I have with the orthodontist the next day talking about whatever, right? Does that make sense? It's the conversation I had, you know, with anybody, any of my new leads, that they can only be a new lead once for me. Does that make sense? At least this year. If I lose track of them next year, I might count them as a new lead because they're now newly on my radar. Does that make sense? That's how I'm doing it. You're the CEO. You can kind of get, but that'll help you to keep accurate records. New people that you've touched, new people that, follow-ups. And I don't want to use the follow-up word because we always think follow-up as our the funnel, right? Your actual following up, IPAs. Did you watch the video? So I'm going to say nurturing, okay? Nurturing those cold leads. Next, how many IPAs, income producing activities? This is the invite. You invited somebody, they said yes or no, doesn't matter to me. That's an IPA because at the end of it, it is more likely to lead you to income generating results, okay? Inviting somebody to the first touch video, inviting somebody to watch the presentation tool, online, live, pre-recorded, your upline comes and does it for you. It's all the same. T. Inviting somebody to meet with your upline, right? As a three-way call, a three-way video chat, a three-way Zoom, inviting them to the live meetups. Man, wasn't last night amazing, by the way? That's inviting them to the team, right? Where they make decisions. ITT, following up. That's income producing activities, right? It's not just saying hi. It's not just saying I was thinking of you, not wishing them a happy birthday. It's they've already you've invited them and they're progressing in the funnel. Okay. Next category, number of new recruits you sign up per month. And I'm going to ask you to develop this out. How many new customers? Okay. And specifically, because my purpose here is to help you sponsor distributors. Recruits is really more appropriately distributors. We sell to customers and we recruit distributors, okay? So if I'm 100% true to this document, I'm not going to include customers. You're welcome to do that. I ended up doing both. I kind of broke it out, but I'm most interested. Most of you probably don't need too much help signing up customers, do you? Of course, I want to double mine, but I really want to grow my business. So what do I need to do? I need to recruit distributors, okay? The number of new recruits your team signs up monthly. I had to go do some work on this, okay? And I didn't choose my teams that have elite legs. I chose my teams and went and investigated, the 11 new recruits or whatever it was for these 3 legs that are, brand new or whatever. So anybody, Lonnie, you've got your hand raised. If anybody wants to share their numbers with us really quickly, you're welcome to drop them in to the chat box. Okay. If you've not done this, this is homework. By the way, you're not behind because we're not starting a new lesson until next Monday. Okay. So you're absolutely not behind, but this is a super important activity to give you a baseline. Lonnie, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I did this at the beginning of the week and really, I think I'm doing okay, but it turned out that I'm sometimes doing okay. And so that really pushed me to make a commitment to really tracking every day how many people I was actually touching, nurturing, and doing IPAs. And I found that I really had to manage my time more specifically and intentionally to do that.
These are rock star insights, by the way. We're like 1-2 pages into this course, and these are rock star insights that you're having that will have big long-term results, ramifications to your business, Lonnie. So that's wonderful. I thought I was doing more too, because I know what I want to do on a daily basis. And I'll tell you where I ended up. I ended up at three new leads a day. Okay. Averaged, right? 9 nurtures a day and 2 IPAs a day. Okay. So what I call the new leads and the nurtures, just so you know, I just call them all touches. So I don't get too focused on, I do keep track of which are new and which are nurtures, because if you're only nurturing, like this is a river. It's a river that's constantly flowing and it has to flow. And if you only do one of these, you're not going to get the results you want, right? If you only ever did new leads and then never nurtured, not going to get what you want. If you don't do any new leads, but you just continue to nurture and be high, right? Being all nicey with everybody, but never getting to IPAs, your business is going to go nowhere. If you only IPA, then you're going to run out of a fresh pool of people who know, like, and trust you. And then you're going to have nobody to talk to, right? Does that make sense? So these all kind of flow into each other. My daily thing, I just think in my mind, I have a number, okay? I have a number that I'm shooting for in touches every single day. Touches meaning new and nurture. My number for today, by the way, I woke up and said, it's a sprint day. It was a sprint day. That's my like high level, which means I got to do 30 touches, okay? 30 touches. I don't do that most days. And I ended up doing it. Now, it wasn't 15 new and 15 nurtures. It ended up being 2 new and 28 nurtures, because that's what I needed. Okay. But you got to have new and nurtured. I don't get to, some days I don't do any new, right? But if I don't do any new for a long time, then guess what? You're going to stagnate somewhere along the flow. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to invite you. This is kind of extra stuff, but just as you're becoming master recruiters, decide. I worked with an elite Pro 8 today, and I gave him this advice. Decide. Hey, can you go help her, Isaac? Just put her on and I'll take care of her. I've got a 4-year-old that needs to go to the bathroom. This life happens while you're building your business, okay? Yes. So that's one. Decide a minimum, a standard, and a sprint day. A minimum, a standard, and a sprint day for yourself, okay? So that what that means is you're going to decide your recruiting numbers. What's my minimum look like? What does my standard day and what does my sprint day look like? So you can get up in the morning and give yourself an intention and be intentional, and then give yourself some flexibility where you need to do. Okay. If you want to know what, yeah, Isaac's going to help you. Lost my train of thought. 6-figure earners, basically 20 touches a day. 20 touches a day. 10 new, 10 nurtures, sure. 3 new, 17 nurtures, sure. 20 new, sure. I mean, I don't care, right? I mean, but 20 nurtures a day and 3 IPAs a day. So I took that and I said, that's going to be my standard, right? That 6-figure earner, right? That's my standard. Now, you don't have to adopt that. If you're not ready for that, don't adopt it. You can build yourself up to it, right? But that's what I chose. So my minimum, this is my day tomorrow. I'm teaching school. I'm teaching LVA. I've got appointment after appointment. I've got some other things. I have some family stuff. It's a busy day. I probably won't have an hour to sit down and dedicate to my recruiting. So it's a minimum day probably for me when I get up. I'll feel it. Maybe I'll feel it and I'll prioritize it even bigger, but tomorrow's going to be probably a minimum day for me. For my minimum is just 5 touches. No IPAs. So I'm really easy on myself. As long as I reach out, wish people 5 happy birthdays, right? Or 5 new or 5 nurtures. I'm just keeping my network at least trickling. It's not a lot, but if I'm sick, I can probably do that. Does that make sense? If I got 15 appointments, I could still do that. So that's my minimum day. The day that, and I do that 6 days a week. Okay. I rest one day and I don't do anything. Okay. And then I've got a sprint day. And my sprint day was, it's going to be really good, but it's going to be something I could also do back to back. In other words, you know what? I don't want my sprint to be like 100. I'm not going to do 100 back to back, I want to sprint 3 days in a row. So I wanted to make it super attainable. So I did sprint at 30. And again, these are my numbers. You come up with your minimum standard in sprint. My sprint day is 30 touches and 5 IPAs. And today I'm at 32 and 6. And it feels darn good. And what did I get today? I've got a brand new distributor out of Iceland. I've got an appointment tomorrow with a customer who's bringing his wife, potentially upgrade. I've got an appointment tonight at 5 o'clock with somebody in the Philippines. I delivered sample product to somebody. Those are all my IPAs today. I mean, though it rocked, right? Not every day's like that, but It can be. So anyway, decide your minimum, your standard, and your sprint. It will change your business life. And then, you know what? I don't worry. If I do no more recruiting today, I don't care, because I made my intention. I invested in my business, and now I can go enjoy my kids instead of worrying, but one more, but I should be doing one more. You know what? Yeah, I could be, but set your intention, and then anything else is extra credit, but you got to have more joy. If that's one thing I could tell you, I've learned after many years in the industry. Okay. So number of, okay, we've done on that. Who had their hand up? Anybody else want to share their numbers? I'd love you. So my numbers, I'm at 12. So I'm not even as I really looked, right? As I really looked at my month. Oh, I'm like, yeah, I want to be doing the 20 and 3, and that's my standard. And I ended up at 12 and 2. Not terrible. Don't judge it. Just let it be, right? Just look, just observe, no judgment. Some of you know what NeuroTool that's from, one of my favorite night times. Number of new recruits I'm signing up a month. I did a distributor and a PC last month. Okay. Number of people in my team, right? There were 13 new distributors and 2 PCs in these legs that I was looking at, that I'm focused on in my business right now. Okay. Not my Master Pro 10 legs, with Blue or Japan, or I'm just in that space building stuff from zero. Okay. Who else wants to jump in and share or has a question?
Seth, I just wanted to add, oh, I'm sorry.
Florence is done.
No, I just wanted to say that when I was going through the exercise, and I wrote that I'm really good at reaching out, but really, to me, it came out that I'm doing none. Because if I reach out Monday, let's say to 10 people, and I don't follow up on those people on Tuesday or Wednesday, they're gone. So going through this exercise made me realize that I'm not following through the cycle in the people that I reach out. Then it just goes nowhere. So then I'm in zero. It doesn't matter whether I do the reach outs. If I'm not doing the follow up, it just stays up in the air, because these are people. The nurture. Yeah, the nurture. And because I'm really good, like I've enrolled 3 people in my downline from distributors, because they say, oh, Florence, I have this person. They want to know about more. So I take them through the whole exercise, the ITT in Spanish, whatever, and they enroll. So there I'm fine. But I find myself that the nurturing, I'm really poor. So I just wanted to say that. It doesn't matter how much people I reach out. If I'm not doing the nurture, it just stays in zero.
I think that's an incredible insight. And, speaking from what I already know about you, and by the way, y'all, Florence is building an international business in a country we're not open in, and developing leaders. And those leaders are reaching out to me and telling me the vision of their life. She is a top 5%. Okay. And so think about all the people in our industry, this profession, who don't even do what she's already doing. And now she's making this major discovery because she's tracking and holding herself accountable. Do you want to know why people aren't successful in our industry? Is because they're not doing some very basic and simple things, right? And so huge insight there. Who's next? Go ahead, Heidi.
Hi, everyone. So I did my first power hour with Seth. I'd only done one other power hour, and his team is, these women, the CEO women, are so inspiring. And so I did 3 new nurtures during that hour, or new contacts. I did 10 nurtures, but I did 5 touchbacks. And I go back to my customers because they're easy to be forgotten. They're on auto ship. And I think I have to build them up. But one of the things that I've noticed, yesterday I got a new customer, and 2 days before that, one of my customers said she's going to sign up as a distributor. And I believe she will. She's just, her job is I can't believe what an occupational therapist, they're really overworked and they have no time for lunch. I mean, it's brutal. But what I'm starting to see with myself, so my job that I'm leaving is a job I love and I want behind me. And I was very successful at being a realtor. My niche market was oceanfront and by the beach, and I can sell. But with this business, I struggle. But I'm starting to see that I have to lose the excitement about the product. And I see with Seth that he is so matter of fact. And it's just sort of a calm, he just wears this professionalism and the excitement of, because I'm excited about what the product does for people. And I have to drop that because they see it as another gimmick. They don't know about the science, even if I tell them. So I just wanted to share that realization about myself and how I have to really start wearing the professional establishment of where I am. And I'm promoting an MLM in the health and wellness industry. And that's it. And they look back and they want to know more, but you know, they've got to ask, kind of thing. So,
wow.
Because I really think there's so many things out there that are fake that everybody thinks it's another one of those.
What Rye and I were working on is something we think, a tool that we think is going to really help with that, by the way. But the most important thing is that you're coming to that realization. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. One other person want to go, and then we got to move forward. Anybody raise your hand? Yay, once, twice. Okay, we're moving forward. Okay, Lillian, we're
So I just want to mention to Heidi that I think that's a mindset issue that we need to pivot away from really quickly. Because there's, I don't know how many gazillion, million, billion people on the planet, and we're just looking for the ones that will understand and will marvel at what we have. And the others that think it's poo-poo will, you know, bye-bye. I think if we think that way, that's what we attract. Maybe that's what I want to say. Where your focus goes, where your attention goes, your focus goes. So if that's what you're thinking, that's what you're going to attract. And if you can pivot and change your mindset and said, okay, those are those people, the people that I want are the ones that will take the time to look at the signs and go like, wow, this is amazing, I'm in. It was just a thought.
Oh, whoa. Stop. It was not just a thought. It was a great thought. Jake took the time to clap to that. It was a fabulous thought. Brilliant. Thank you, Lillian. Love it. All right, we're moving on. And I'm so hungry. I'm chomping on chocolate chip cookies here, really. Okay. I'm on my fourth. Next page, pre-class evaluation. Joan, I see your jaw drop there. Stephanie will typically ask me like, so how many cookies you like eat a whole dozen? I'll eat a whole dozen at the same time. I know. Personal selling. So now we're going to do this, this situation where you're going to evaluate your selling and recruiting mindset, right? So you're going to choose a 1 if you feel like this issue has no impact on your business, a 3 if it's moderate, and a 5 if it has significant impact on your business. I love my product and I have big goals, but my personal sales numbers are not where they need to be. We're talking about sales. We're talking about product. We're talking about attracting new customers, okay? All too often, I allow the following to sabotage my business goals, my sales goals. I know what I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. Okay, make sure that you filled that number out, right? I resist picking up the phone and booking appointments. We're talking about having conversations about the product, right? Not recruiting. I'm afraid that I will bother people. I don't want to be pushy. I can't find the right people. I don't know what to say. I lack confidence in selling, okay? Now, the next one is your personal recruiting. Keep in mind, these are different. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to target people. Like, I don't go around in my mind saying, oh, I'm going to flip on the selling switch. Oh, I'm going to flip on the recruiting switch. I just put on I'm going to liberate the women of the world and be a champion for women in business switch. And then what do? I run an MLM organization or I liberate women Well, how do you do that? Right. And then I think the biggest thing is you want to have a mindset. I can recruit, and I want, whoa. I want to recruit. If I give you some insight, what Fry and I talked about yesterday, you all know the 4 pillars that we teach in the company, right? The 4 beliefs, right? Belief in the industry, the company, the product, and you, right? Believe in yourself. Do you want to guess what the two, if I'm just going to go around, if we look at if we look at ourselves in the mirror and our teams, and we just say that right now we're pretty strong in 2 of these, and in 2 others, we might need some help. Which ones of those, just drop them in here. So I'm just going to say, so industry, company, product, self. Industry, company, product, self. Which 2 do you think are the ones that we need the most work on right now? Drop that in the chat box. I'm curious to see what you all say. Let's get 5 or 6 of these in at least, and then we'll. Okay. Industry, self. Industry, self. Industry, self. I do have a company in self, industry, industry selling, industry, self. Okay, guess what? Industry. Yeah, people love the company. They love LifeVantage. I would never do another network marketing company. I will never do another network marketing company. I'm only here because of the product, and it was amazing. And even though it was network marketing, I came here. Do you know anybody who thinks like that in this company? Have you ever thought like that in this company? Let me just ask you, if that's where your mentality is, that's attached to core beliefs, by the way, that's what you're thinking. You think when you talk to somebody and you're sitting in an orthodontic appointment and they say, what do you think that recruiting is going to be the foremost thing on your mind? And I'm going to help this person liberate themselves. You're going to say something like, have you heard of Pro Tandem? Right? I've got this amazing product. So yeah, it is industry. It is industry. When you are proud of this industry, when you understand network marketing, when you understand the values that this industry will require in order to be successful, you will absolutely fall in love with it. And, Carolee's talking about, people, some folks do shut down when it's MLM. My farrier, by the way, for those of you in horsedom, my farrier, who's a new farrier for me, he only came over the 2nd time on Monday, did his work, shoed my horses, trimmed them up. They're all clean and fat and sassy. And I texted him the next day and I said, hey man, when it comes to business and finances, do you keep your options open? And he said, yes, I do, but I only do things I know how to do, and I avoid MLM, right? And I haven't even gotten back to him. I've had a stellar day, and I haven't even got back to him. I'm leaving stuff on the table. I'm not avoiding him, and I'm gonna take that MLM bull by the horns, validate him, and totally be cool where he is, but not shy away from it. I'm not gonna say, oh, but this is different. No, right? Anyway, I'm just telling you that your selling attitude and your selling mindset and your belief mindset will filter out into your results. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for personal recruiting. I'm great at personal and team sales, but my personal recruiting is limiting my business growth. I know and then it's the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. I would love to know, you can drop it in the chat box, but I would love to know, where did you end up here? What did this look like for you? Do you see some patterns? Okay. Do you see that maybe the patterns on your personal selling, that there's not as much resistance? The numbers are lower on your selling because it's easier to do, and you're experiencing higher numbers on your recruiting. Somebody want to raise their hands? Let's have let's get some dialogue. Who wants to talk? If not, I'm going to start singing Encanto with a chocolate chip cookie in my mouth. We don't talk about Bruno. All right. Okay, Richard, he's raising his hand.
Okay. My numbers are about the same, actually. It's kind of interesting that way. When I looked at them and everything. But the one that really caught me the most was just not knowing what to say. I'm always hung up on like, what's the right thing to say, right? That to me seems to be, because I'm good into action and stuff like that, but some of the say thing was just something, but they seem to be about the same.
Cool, cool, cool. Great insight. Lillian, go ahead. Let's get a couple of other hands too after Lillian.
So if I'm reading this thing right, so lower numbers means it has no impact and higher numbers means it has a lot of impact. So personally, my numbers for the recruiting are higher, they're 4s and 5s. And I have a couple of 1s, meaning no impact, mean I do know what to say. I don't lack the confidence in selling. I also want to point out something, because we did this course some time ago. I can't remember when. So I'm looking at my own numbers and I already see that I've shifted a little bit. So I'm excited to see what happens after this second time around. And what I mean, shifted a little for better. So I think you're right. I think there's a lot more impact of these things on the personal recruiting than on the personal selling. And when you asked me what my yearly numbers were, that was definitely the case. I mean, I had way more PCs than distributors. So that needs to change. That is going to change.
That is changing. It's already changing, Lillian. You've already seen that it's changing. Interestingly enough, I asked the top 25 on the CEO app for invites, that leaderboard. I asked them, what their takeaways were and what their numbers were. And do you know what? Across the board, I don't know what the number was, but I wanted to say it was like 10 to 1, 10 to 1 customers to distributors. And in many cases, 20 to 0, right? Or in some cases, and it's not surprising or alarming that we have more customers than distributors. And I think it's healthy to have customers. It's part of a good business plan. But I don't want to stay there at the numbers. I want to look at why is that, right? Why is that? Soraya, you had your hand up and it's down. So I'm going to come to you and then I'm going to go to Beverly and then I'm going to go to Lonnie and then we'll move on to the next page.
So what I noticed is, and this goes back to I'm going back a year ago, last December, when I had like one of my best months in LifeVantage, and, looking at the whole year, so December 2020, not 2021, looking at that whole year of 2021 and I find correlations, believe it or not, in my real estate. And I found that I was really good at selling, and I'm really good at selling real estate, and I'm really good at selling the product to customers. But I completely lack in recruiting and the confidence in recruiting. But going through all of these, asking myself all these questions, I've realized what I do in real estate that I'm really good at, all I have to do is transfer it over into LifeVantage, because it's, in a lot of ways, for me, I see it as very similar. But I have that block, I think, with the stigma of it being a network marketing company that I didn't realize I had until asking myself these questions and really giving it some thought and reviewing, this whole process. So it's been kind of an interesting couple days, going through that. So
beautiful.
But I'm drastically different.
Beautiful. Soraya, thank you for that insight. I'm going to go, Beverly, 1 minute, Lonnie, 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I'm noticing a significant change from the first time I took the class till this time. And I'm also noticing that I work really hard to make my numbers every day, although there's days that I don't make the numbers. I feel like now I'm not so shy about, I know a little bit more about what I'm saying to these people. I've got a system more in place now. So I have been recruiting more customers and distributors, but I feel like I'm offering the opportunity more, and it is just falling where it falls. I am nurturing people. This go around, I also noticed that I'm more getting to the point instead of just going, letting it just go on forever. And I'm also noticing from the conversation earlier this week that I had a money block because I didn't like my finances. So I switched and pivoted that around to say, I'm grateful all the bills are paid. I've got money in the bank. And so the whole mindset is changed. And so I'm reaching out because I want to, and I'm more in the green zone. So I'm reaching out more. And the cup of flow, the virtual cup of tea has really shifted everything for me, because now my mindset is that I want to book a 15-minute call to let them do the talking. So I've managed to do one of those and more on the way. And so I'm attracting more people that I'm in alignment with. So I've put my numbers, and I don't really know which way of the scale this is really supposed to go, but I have made it so I put a 2. I'm in the 2s and 3s. And I feel like that is more that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm not afraid of bothering people. So there's been a big shift.
Huge. That's great. Great work. Great work, Beverly. Beautiful. Lonnie, we'll go to you and then we're going to move on. We've got a few more papers and we've been on an hour. So I want to be really mindful of that and move on. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Okay. So when I did the evaluation, both for selling and recruiting, I found myself pretty middle of the road. And when you add all that up and average out that score, it came to a 7, which on the confidence scale, that's a good place to be. That's in the green zone. But middle of the road is not good enough. When I saw myself doing that, it's like, yeah, that's not good enough. And that's not going to get me to Pro 5. So got to step up the game and make the commitment and do the work.
So let it be written. So let it be done. Love it.
It is done.
It is done. It is done. It is done. All right, next page. This is, we worked through this on Power Hour, on our after Power Hour jam session, I think yesterday. Make sure you filled this out. This will give you insight. This is the next page. Why you're feeling, why those things might be inhibiting you, right? Why you might not be picking up the phone. So take some time, get with a triad. If you have not filled this out, you're going to miss, like we've been diagnosing, or we've been looking at symptoms, casting vision. This is like the root cause, like this here, if you want to understand why those things are happening. So make sure you understand your core beliefs. If you don't know how, we'll get with the triads and make sure you're working through that. I have not finished mine. Okay. This is as far as I've gotten. Again, we got you till Monday. The sooner you get it done, the better, but don't be flipping out if you're feeling like, oh, by Friday, I haven't done everything for this class. Don't worry about it. Neither have I. Okay. But spend some time. And if you don't know, start where you do know, right? If you don't know, well, I don't know what my core beliefs are. We were talking with Lillian and the crew yesterday. Well, start with where your actions are. Well, my actions are, I signed up 15 customers and no distributors. Okay. That's going to give you some insight. Or my action, the results. Results are, and I signed up nobody in the last 90 days. Okay. Why is that? Well, my actions. Well, I've been doing, I mean, you're just dissecting this, right? Reverse engineering. Well, why am I? Well, because I'm scared because I don't want to lift up the phone. I'm scared to lift up the phone. Oh, okay. Well, why is that? Because I'm thinking that nobody's going to say anything, any yes. Well, why is that? Well, because, right. And you just start to really peel the onion back. Do you know our industry? Do you know most industries? When we get to an event, typically, what do we talk about? Like if you go to, I don't know, if you're paying somebody outside of our industry, right? Not Deb, not outside of our industry, but outside of our company, right? Not Deb. It's the best money I've ever invested in myself in this industry. And out of this industry, to be quite honest, business-wise. What are they going to tell you? Like, you go to this amazing event, and what's the takeaway? You just gotta what? For the next 90 days, right? It's the 90-day push. And I'm not saying, Deb talks about a 90-day push, but it's after we fix the problems. Because if we just do a 90-day push, 90-day push, how many of you felt like that? Like, I get excited because I do catch a glimpse of greatness and beauty and love and vision. When I go to these events, that's magical. There's the environment, but we haven't addressed the core beliefs, right? So we get the same results. We push ourselves. We might get something, but it's just like a rubber band. It just goes back to where it was, right? 90-day push. This industry and so many industries focusing on the actions down, right? The actions down. And what we're doing here is we're going to the programming down. Okay. So make sure you do that one. Next. I didn't even fill this out, so I don't know how. There you have it, folks. You've got Hilga and Tawanda, and she's talking about the fear center and your motivation center. I don't know if you're supposed to fill this out or if that was just a thing. So some homework on that.
Seth, it's a great exercise as you're listening to the Narrow Pro 3. Write everything that you feel. And that will help you. That's how I'm filling out that sheet that you haven't finished, which I haven't either. But as I listen to it, I get most of my answers there. And if it helps anybody, because I get emotional every time that I listen to it, because you rediscover, like I find that hero inside of me every time that I listen to it. So that's why we're here today. And we can go to all these, like you say, events of different companies, but we don't have what we have here, which is like what Lillian, Carolee, Beverly, Richard, Janet, all of us, Soraya, every time that we meet at a power hour, whether we missed it or not, in the back of our subconscious saying, damn, I'm missing it, because we all like to connect. And that energy, Seth, it's what keeps us going. And that's what makes us love what we're doing. And if this is part of the industry, well, I love it.
Rye Fry asked me yesterday, Seth, sounds like you're working so hard, and are you systematizing everything you're doing? And, could you disappear? And would this continue to go on? 90 days from now, would power hours be happening? Would meetups be happening? Yeah, they would be happening. They might be happening even better because of women like Florence. And I could just insert lots of names. She just made the comment, but this is some powerful, powerful insights. Okay. If you're wondering, if you're struggling and saying, well, I don't know what my core beliefs are, talk about your feelings or your thing. Like, as you're listening to the neurotools, what are you feeling? The neurotool may challenge you and you might be listening and saying, I would love to be there, but I don't. Okay, great. Keep listening. And now you've got a little clue, right? If you're feeling, yeah, I actually do feel like I'm a 9 or a 10. Well, why is that? And you can go to your core beliefs. I asked you a question today. You're in the orthodontics office. She looks at you and says, what do you do? Okay, I want to know how you feel right now. Right? I want to know how you feel right now. Do you feel, I feel good, right? I feel amazing. Right? I feel like the most beautiful woman in the world, right? That's what you should be saying, women. Do you feel like, oh, what do I say here? What do I say? Right? Richard's like, well, what do I say? Like that, boom. We have just taken a snapshot of your set point. That's why you are where you are, right? If you feel anxiety when somebody asks you, what do you do? Boom, that's a clue. Let's start, let's start digging through that hole. Somebody asks you, what do you do? And you're like, well, okay, you're not sure what you do. Now, if you're not sure what you do, how are you going to go lead a team? How are you going to build and lead a team, right? So that's how you can get some of this information. Awesome. Great insight. I know we have questions. Will you forgive me if I move forward? But don't not ask the next time. Okay. I do want to get to the next page. You can't see it, but this is the triads. Okay. Triads, love triads, 3 to 5 people. This is a new approach to accountability. How many of you, just by raise of hands, virtual or real, have never done a triad with 3 to 5 people, right? Okay, Jake, it's new for you. It was new for me. Deb put me in new. Okay, Loretta, new for you. Okay, a lot of you. Heidi, okay, I see your name. Yeah, it was new. I love it. I love it because it's like if you get with an accountability partner and they're just like one of you is off, then there's no partnership, folks. You know, there's just more chance of more activity happening when you're in a triad. So I just increased my triad. I had a triad of 3, and we just increased it to 4. I brought somebody new in today, and I'm going to keep that for a certain period of time. By the way, don't worry. You don't like, there's nothing special about being in my triad. Okay. Other than that I'm there and those 5 people are there. Okay. There's no special magic from me. The magic is the magic of doing your own triads. Okay. So here's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you have a triad. If you don't have a triad right now, drop it in the chat box and just say need triad. Okay. Need triad. So that we can put you in touch with maybe people who need it, who are doing it, etc. But you got to have a triad. Okay. And I've been running a triad for about 3 months, just the 3 of us. And I just increased it today to 4, right? Because I'm like, you know what, this is going to be really good for us. And I knew somebody I wanted to be in the triad and I knew they were looking for something and boom. So 3 to 5 people, you don't want too many because here's what you want. You want the 3 to 5 of you totally committed to each other. Committed, number 1, to yourself. You made the commitment and then committed to the triad. So you can't just ignore it. You can't not do it. It is required material. Okay. Don't do this without a triad. What are you doing in your triads? I've been doing this for weeks, a couple of months. Every morning, number 1, you're going to make your agreements in your triad. I'm actually going to go, we're starting this class. I'm sending this to my triad today. You need to respond yes to the following. You commit to play, or I do, or I will, or I am. Or you commit to play full out, to hold yourself and others accountable. Some of you need to do better at holding others accountable. Hey, Loretta, you said you were going to do 2 today. I know you said you're tired. Is there anything I can do to help you? I know you're a rock star. If you need to be flexible, that's cool. But, how do you feel? What's the best decision for you, right? No quitting, no hiding, no excuses. Okay. Don't go disappearing, on your triad because you didn't do your thing. Own it, be accountable. If you just miffed it up today, then at least at the very least, take that. So make sure you have that conversation with your triad. I'm looking through here. Okay. Janie needs a triad. Florence needs a triad. Soraya needs a triad. Jane needs a triad. Okay. So I'm throwing this out here. Take some initiative, jump in one or invite somebody in one, get a feel, create one. You see what's going on here. Make sure that you have a triad. Okay. Get that set up, before the weekend's over. Okay. So here's what I do with the triad. This is what we do every day. And we're number 3 on this page. I go and say, my Monday intention, or today's Friday, my Friday intention is, and then I just drop in the numbers, 20, or in this case, number of touches, nurtures, IPAs, neurotools. So my goal today, 10, 20, 5, 2, right? I don't write all the words out every single time, right? Once you start to get, you all know what order you're doing it in. And then I reported to my triad in the afternoon. Actually, here's what I do. We kind of have a game of it. Who can finish first? Right? Now, they're all doing their own numbers. They're not trying to get my 30. They're trying to do their 5 or 12 or whatever. Right? But it's fun. Like I'm trying to get it done before noon. Today it was 1 o'clock and I did a sprint day and I got it done by like 1:15 or 1:30 or something like, and I'm like, boom, I did it. Right. And it was like 2:28, 5, right? So, you're going to report your intentions every night. And by the way, when you report, man, it's such a good feeling, and then do whatever you want the rest of the day. Right. So every afternoon you're going to report and then you're going to talk about the results. Did you hit? Let's celebrate together. Did you miss? Let's tweak for tomorrow. Okay. That's how a triad works. And my triad, we also do questions. Hey, I'm struggling with this. What do you do? Now you're welcome to do that. You don't want to overload people with too much, right? So respect your triad, decide how you guys want to work that, right? My triad has, I'm going to say moderate, small to moderate dialogue. You know, in other words, I try to put most of the super important things in our, you know, either this group, I can sell and recruit thread, or the CEO women thread, right? Because I'm going to feed more people. But if it's specific to what we're talking about here, boom, we'll do it, right? So get those triads going. Again, anybody else need one? I don't see it. Janie's saying, hey, Soraya. So anyway, take a look at that. Okay. ABCs of mindset management. We're not going to run into that because we have taken a long time. I want to jump to this e-card. Okay. E-card. How many of you, raise of hands, have done an e-card before? Florence, Richard, Lonnie, Isaac, can you take this call from Mom, please? Okay, Lillian, several of you. Okay. So you know what? Last time I took this class, I didn't do my e-card. I got bogged down. I didn't even finish this class last time. I was trying to take 2 classes at the same time, and I ended up doing both of them very mediocrely. Anyway, and so I'm really, really working hard to make this a priority in my life. So I still need to work on my e-card, but I want to open it up. How many of you, how did you feel? Those of you who've done the e-card, maybe 2 of you, how did you feel about your e-card? Where have you shared it? Any amazing things happening? We got to keep our comments tight because we're at 1 hour and 14 right now, and they won't all be like this, but we're getting started. So I'm going to go Beverly and then Lillian and then Florence. Go ahead, Bev.
I felt great. I shared it to stories. I don't even remember where. I try to post everything to LinkedIn, Insta, and Facebook. But I love that I put, my favorite part about it was that I put, I am happy, because I want to say it. I want to see it and I want to feel it. Thank you for asking.
So if you haven't done an e-card, it's a lot of work. And Dev has a tip is ask your friends, post it on Facebook, whatever, you know, what are the 3 things you like about me? What do you think I'm good at? And then pick from that if you don't know where to start. And then kind of put all that together. It takes a little digging down deep, but I think it's a beautiful process. And I was reading it to myself every day. I haven't posted it anywhere, but I think starting with when you get to the core and starting with that, it's almost like setting your intention for the day. And I think it's really powerful. And then for the triad, when we did it before, what we were doing is in the morning, and we're in different time zones, so it changes a little bit, but we were posting our intention for the day. And then at the end of the day, we were reporting what we were doing. So like you said, we weren't doing too much chatting back and forth because whatever help we need, we get it from CEO Women. But it was almost like, okay, now I set this intention. So now it's you felt responsible. Oh, it's getting, you know, I have like 2 hours left. I better finish what I said I was going to do. But again, remember, it's a no judgment zone. So if your day fell apart or whatever, and you couldn't do it, it's okay. We're there to support each other, but it helped a lot. So, and we had our little system. We have to go back again of how we put, you know, 10, 5, 3, whatever we said. And then at the end of the day, you can look back and see. And I think that has to be a goal for me. I'm not keeping track. And I think that's where I'm slacking.
Well, thank you, Lillian and Beverly. I agree with Lillian in regards to that it takes time, and I was totally the opposite today. Speed and ease had to be within me in order to get it done, because I thought that I had to get it done by this meeting today. And I took an hour, and I did a neuro tools before that, and I just found myself like what that Beverly said. Happiness is my journey. I am at my best, and I want to share that with the world. So it was really my belief that this e-card made me realize that where I am today, it is possible. And where I am today, I got to share it and make it possible to all those that want to listen to it. And the simpler we make it by just telling how we feel and who we are, the easier it is. That's all I can say. Silence.
I was looking at Richard's. Richard made a comment here. Richard had 101 likes on his e-card, by the way, on Facebook, which is, by the way, above average, isn't it, Richard? That's an above average engagement for you know, that what that means. What you gather, and I don't take any one post too seriously, especially on the negative side, right? Everybody stop looking for like the one post. There is no one post that I know of. When I find that one post, I'll let you know. It's like the Sasquatch. It's like Bigfoot. You know, there is no one post. It's all of the posts, all of the time, as part of the progress and the growth and the consistency, right? And the methodology for finding out who your tribe is. What works for me may not work for you. The style, the post, the thing, it's just, you know, it's because we're different people. We have different missions. We have different energy, and that's cool, right? So, but what I do want to recommend is that you share that and see what happens. I'm grateful that Richard's leading out in that. I know others have as well. And I'm going to ask you to share it now, share it on multiple mediums, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook. Okay. I have different audiences for Facebook and Instagram, right? Different number of people and just very different audiences. Put it on stories. Like, here's what I'm imagining. I'm going to work on my e-card. Here's my paper, but I'm imagining, okay, I got my e-card. I'm going to post that and keep dialogue going. Then I'm going to make a Facebook story out of it. Like, imagine this. And I just had this as I was listening to you. Hey, so let me tell you guys tell you ladies what an e-card is. We all know about business cards and emails, but here's what an e-card is. That's my first page, my story. So an e-card is an energy card. It's the energy that you're putting out. It's emanating your purpose and who you are and the talents and what makes you special. Next page, right? Do you see how people are going to start clicking and watching? That's what I want on my stories. I want engagement. I want to keep people there. I'm not so concerned who watches the first page of my story. I go to the last page of my story and see how many people did I captivate, right? And those are the people that I reach out. Those are the people that are my new leads. Those are the people that are my nurtures for the day, right? So ladies, so here's who I am. Here's my e-card. Boom. Next page. My name's Seth Mulder, and I liberate the women of the world. That's what I'm here to do. I'm all about liberating the captive. Next page, right? Why? Blah, blah, blah. 2 pages. The reason I'm able to do this is because I've got a special gift. I've got a talent that blank, 1 or 2, right? And I'll tell you what, this is my commitment to every single woman under the sound of my IG Facebook story, under my IG story. My commitment is this. Boom, next page, right? You see what I'm saying? You can take that static e-card now and make it a Facebook story. You can make it a reel. You can make it the theme for your week. You can make that the theme for your month as you keep on coming back to it. I hope you're reusing some of the content, some of your good content or some of your most important content. Richard, share your e-card again in a week. Share it every week this month, right? Or, you know, in your stories, right? Resurrect it into your Facebook feed by going and making a comment on it, because that's going to put it back into the churn, right? Back into the algorithm. So anyway, just some thoughts about taking that e-card, that energy card, and putting some energy into it, to quote the amazing, illustrious, and master recruiter, future Elite Pro 7, Lillian Merida. Where your focus goes, the energy flows, right? Put some focus onto you and your e-card. So anybody struggling with their e-card, we're going to kind of wrap up with this. Anybody struggling with it, need some help? So anybody want to talk about it?
I will, Seth. Just, I think it was Beverly that said, or maybe it was Liliana that said, asking someone else, because a lot of times we don't, some of our core beliefs keep us from acknowledging our talents and gifts. And sometimes we don't realize the energy, how we bring energy to the world. So by asking people that care about you to tell you what they see as your unique gifts and talents can really bring you insight and build your confidence. And for me, it was very affirming to hear what other people thought of me and to be able to say, yes, that is who I am. And that is the energy that I bring to the world and the energy that I want to bring to the world. So I would suggest anybody struggling with it, just reach out to a few friends and say, could you just share with me what you think my unique talents, gifts are in the world?
Beautiful. I love it. If you reach out to 5 friends today and say, hey, so I'm doing some introspection but I mean, again, thinking about business, right? So I'm doing some introspection, some major planning for the next 12 months. And I'm working on a project. And because I trust you, I wanted to reach out. I'm evaluating, like, what am I good at? What are my special talents? So I just wanted to know, what do you think? I would love if you could take 30 seconds or 15 seconds. And if you think that, I have some specific talent, let me know. Super appreciate it. Do that with 5 people and boom, you just did 5 nurtures, by the way. That's 5 nurtures, right? Or if they were new and that's 5 new leads. That's 5 cold leads. And that's good content, by the way. You know what I'm saying? That's good content, And then that might go in my IG story. So I reached out to 5 of my best friends, right? And here's what they said. Wow, blew me away. And then I started thinking, yeah, I do have that talent. And that's what I'm going to do. That, you don't see what I'm saying? Just anyway, cool. Anybody else wanted to say something on that? Okay, Janie.
So I did mine back in June when I took this class before. And I got through the first couple of chapters. And I am at 180 degrees different on my e-card and my self-beliefs as I am on the beginning things, the 1 through 5. I'm kind of blown away. It didn't hit me when I did it in June, but as I'm looking at it today, and I've been pretty much out of commission for the last 6 months, but stepping back in, my e-card is completely different than my actions. My vibe attracts my tribe, and my all of that. And I guess that's where I just need to get back in doing the tools and things like that. Or how can I be so diametrically different?
So when Moses was on the mount and God told him to go free Israel, he said something like, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue, right? And God had to talk to him about a few things. Hey, let me show you a few miracles. Hey, Moses, my son. If you look at the dialogue actually between God and Moses, it's like, 12 times like Moses, my son. Well, in this case, Janie, my daughter, right? So I don't think that it's totally possible that you have a vision. You have a vision. You've seen a vision and you have a feeling about what you've been called to do and where you desire to go, right? You look in the New Testament, Jesus asked, what desire ye of me? That should be a huge boost of confidence in each one of us, that he's going to take the time to say, what desire ye of me? Don't worry that you're going to say the wrong thing, right? So what is it that you want? And you have a vision, Janie. And I mean, God bless you. You know what you want to do. You know who you are. You have some idea about your talents. And so your numbers might be low, but that's just a matter of picking it up. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. So you have vision. I think what's going to happen is now as you start to go to act on this, and you will experience the anxiety or the stop or a block or and you'll experience flow. I mean, you're going to experience both of those things. It's duality. Then you're going to know, okay, now what do I need? What's the work I need to go do? Right? It's like I had a personal session with Deb recently, and I've been plateaued at an incredible lifestyle. I'm very grateful, but I know it's not my full potential. But, we were able to uncover the fact that, okay, I've got this vision for my life. I've been on the mount, right? To a degree. No, I've been on the mount. Okay. And yet, why do I not believe that I can part the Red Sea? Very literally, right? And the obstacle in front of me. Well, because when I walked off that mount, I didn't erase programming that thought, since I've been 7 years old, that you have so much, the price to pay to triple that or quadruple it isn't worth it, because people might not value you. People might reject you. You might have to give up the belief that your high level of success, is all that there is. In other words, Seth, it's okay for you to believe that you deserve more. What desire ye of me? And I've been stuck at an incredible lifestyle, don't get me wrong, but I've been stuck here for years. I've been stuck here, frankly, in some aspects for over a decade, right? And it's been great. But happiness and fulfillment for me are in progression, right? A fullness of that. So that's, I think, Janie, I think your intuition is, it's like tap the back of your head. What's next? What is next for me? Do the work this week. Put your numbers, get with your triad, and then start experiencing, hey, where am I seeing the blocks and stuff? So I'm going to go to Heidi, and then I'm going to go to Jake. You had your hand up, Jake, and then Beverly, and then we might need to wrap it up. We've been on here. And here's what I'm amazed at. And again, I don't want to do 1.5 hours times every time, because I won't be able to do that every Friday night. But wow, thanks for being here in this inaugural. We didn't do this last time, did we, ladies? We did this class. And I think this is going to be huge, huge, huge. 85% of you that started, 85% of us are still here 90 minutes into this. That tells me that you're getting some out of it. So let's go with Heidi, and then Jake, and then Beverly.
Yeah, I think we can learn from each other so much, and the camaraderie and the support, especially during COVID. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really isolated a lot. It's blowing up here in Hawaii. And, so what I think when I've read the different cards that people have been brave enough to post within our group, I say that because I was really scared to post mine, but I did it. I think the window of this is, you're telling these items about yourself, what you're going to do, what you're about, but giving a little bit of character, what made you that way. Now, I don't know, I don't think Christy's here. Hers was fabulous, simple. And I love the fact that she had purple text, because if you know Christy, it just, she has that bit of purple hair always, and she's just gorgeous. But I wanted to say something about, she's a scientist, just that little window of validation of who she is. Because to me, when she ever says that her past is that she's a scientist. So I think if you can give a clue of something about what made you what you are today, and it doesn't have to be much. It kind of opens a window of intrigue. Maybe that's what it is. Thank you for letting me talk.
All right, I'll pick it up after you, Heidi. So I just wanted to say thanks so much, Seth. This has been an awesome 90 minutes, and I'll go quick because I know we don't have a lot of time. But I wanted to circle back to what I think it was Lonnie said, and then you followed up. But I haven't done my e-card yet, but as one of my classes in my MBA that I did last year, it was we had to reach out to people and ask them, what they thought our strengths were. And that was one of the most powerful parts of my MBA so far, is where I learned the most about myself is by doing that one task. And it was tough, because it's tough to be that vulnerable and ask people, but I've never learned so much about myself. So I think I'm going to do that again with this e-card. and see how that works. So I encourage you to do it too, because it is tough, because you have to be vulnerable. I can't say the word, but anyway, thanks, Seth. I think that another thing I love here is the energy, and that we are vulnerable with each other, because I think that's powerful.
Woo, woo, love it. Thank you. Me and my doll salute you. Go ahead, Beverly.
I really enjoyed this exercise. I reached out and asked my closest, the CEO women about the different questions, and that every single thing on there is a reply from someone else. And I put it on my e-card, and I tell you what, it really feels good, because I am a child of God. I am enough. I can do this. I love the neuro tools, especially creating unshakable confidence. And I love if I can do that, I can do this. And I see myself snapping a lot, and that triggers my brain to get out of that lane that I don't need to be in, because it feels good to be in the green zone. And for the first time in my life, I'm living the green zone. I'm just going to own it. And so I really encourage everybody to be bold and brave with their e-card. It really brought out parts of me that need to be uncovered, and I need to be me. The e-card freed me. And so I just really want to encourage y'all, and I am happy to help anybody that needs any help with the Canva. It took me a year to gain the confidence, but with the Pro 3 Neuro tool, all I say is this is the easiest thing that I have ever done. The technology snaps me every now and again, and I pivot quickly and I say, this is the easiest thing that I have ever done. And in addition to that, this is the most fun that I have ever had. Everybody that knows me knows I don't have the family support, and you know where I get it from, CEO women. And so I want to really encourage everybody to own the e-card. I'm finally owning my talents and my gifts. And the world needs and wants to know who Beverly Hill is. Seth said that after meetup or after Power Hour one day. He said, the world needs to know Soraya, Lonnie, Joan, Seth, every one of us. And we deserve this. And you're going to reach your goals a whole lot quicker whenever you have fun doing this. Because that's why Deb wants us to do this. She wants to free the women of the world. And we are those women. We are part of that. The men in the group is part of that. And this is why this is the first step of this sell and recruit piece. And I really feel good doing my e-card. I know the font is not really pleasurable for everyone to read. So when I start sending that out, I am going to change that font so that the older people don't have such a difficult time with that. But when just do your Pro 3 Neuro tool, this is the easiest thing that I've ever done. If I can do that, I can do this. And really set aside an hour and love yourself while you're doing it. Thank you.
Well, this meeting has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Have you seen the it's kind of the latest rage, for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks, hashtag 10-year challenge, right? You've seen everybody posting their pictures for 10 years ago. I'm going to do it too. I mean, why not, right? It's interesting, actually. It's interesting content to me. And it's personal. But I'm going to have you hop off for a second, sweetheart. So I'm thinking about 10-year challenge as we close out, and based on what Beverly said about, knowing her and knowing her better. 10 years ago, I was not me. I had allowed myself to accept programming about me that wasn't true. You could honestly just straight up say lies, right? I had believed lies about me, that I was, not worthy, that I was proud and conceited and selfish and so many things, and a good friend, more of a mentor really, who was placed into my life, placed into my life for a reason, for a short period of time. And a spiritual mentor said, inspired, absolutely inspired. And I share this with you because it was inspired, but it wasn't inspired just for me to hear or to live or to experience. He said, Seth, God wants Seth Mulder to be Seth Mulder and nobody else. And when you are not, when I'm not me, and when you are not, he is not pleased. It's like, whoa. And that was a turning point for me. And I made intentions to go and be me. And you know how interesting it was when I married Stephanie. We just celebrated our 7 years in December, our getting married. I'm me. I'm still me. Okay. I'm a better me. But every single one of those areas in which I had accepted, notice that I'm taking responsibility for that. And we all have to. I had accepted the programming that had been fed into me over years and, you know, with lots of emotion. Every single one of those categories, from the way I spoke to the way I approached my relationship, you know, maybe with deity, you know, in my ministry, my ministry, in my expressions, in the way that I show my emotion, in the desires I have, you know, in temporal and spiritual things, to grow and to be the best I can, fulfill my potential, the clothes that I wore, my dreams. My profession, my talents. You know that every single one of those things, every single category that I had believed or accepted and put myself into a box. Do you know that my wife saw every single one of those things in a 180-degree difference? Seth, I love the way you dress. Seth, I love the way you talk. Seth, I love the dreams that you have. Can we share them together? Seth, I love your expressiveness. Seth, I believe that you were made for an incredible purpose and you're going places, spiritual and temporally. Seth, do you know that all of those lies that I believed, all that programming that I believed wasn't true, but it held me back from who I was. And now 10 years later, I am more me than I've ever been. 10 years from now, you'll all recognize me, but you'll say, wow, you were bright back then. You are solar banging, right? You are off the charts now. And I wish that for every one of you. God wants you to be you, not somebody else, not for somebody else, with your talents, your skills, your mission, your abilities, your desires. What desire ye of me? Don't wait for a revelation. It's already inside of you. Okay. And go and be you, fully be you. I'm still working on it, by the way, right? I'm still working on it. But wow, I'm more me than I was 10 years ago. That's my 10-year, hashtag that 10-year challenge. So be you. The E-card is a manifestation of that. Okay. Be proud to share it, Heidi. And thank you. I did read every word of your E-card as I was thinking about the ocean waves calmly upon the water. So thank you. Love to all. If anybody has anything else, you're welcome to unmute. We'll do this again next week. We won't have this extended session. So I feel privileged to be here today. I think we had nuggets of cosmic and divine sourcing with us today. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate you.
Aloha.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
It's good to be
It was
back.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. You guys are great.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.